Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I really wanted to talk about The Last of Us, both the game and the show, and how I've been feeling about the second season of the show. We currently, while filming this, we're on season 2 episode 5, I believe. So there's only 2 more episodes left of the show, which is crazy. I feel like it just started. And yeah, I just really want to talk about this because Last of Us, I know a lot of people, means a lot to me. It has a very special place in my heart. The second game, especially, I have a complicated relationship with. I mean, I think a lot of people do. It's something that I used to not like, but I've grown to really love, actually. And especially now, actually, I think I have more of appreciation for it than I ever have before. And a love for it that I've never realized until recently. One of the things I wanted to say too is I've never played the second game myself. I've watched obviously playthroughs and stuff of it, but I've never actually played it myself. I actually recently got it though, so I'm probably gonna be playing it soon. But the first game I have played multiple times. I've also watched multiple playthroughs of it. I'm a lot more familiar with the first game. I know that game like the back of my hand. I could recite lines and I know exactly where to go in certain places. I know that game very, very well. The second game, though, again, I'm not as knowledgeable on, but I still obviously, I know what happens. And yeah, I just want to talk, though, a little bit about the second season because I have been kind of getting a little frustrated with it. I don't, hate the show by any means. I still am really enjoying it. There's a lot of things I think the set design is amazing. I think the acting has been fantastic. I think all the actors are great, and I don't have any problem with casting personally. I know, okay, maybe that's not fully true. The only casting that I'm a little bit upset with is probably Abby's casting. I think that the actress did a fantastic job with what I've seen of them. I do think they're a fantastic actor. My one problem is I am still kind of frustrated with the fact that they didn't get a more strong woman to play that character. I'm just a little frustrated by that because I do actually think, usually, again, I don't care about what a person looks like to play. I really don't, but I do think that is something that it's a big part of, I think, Abby's character, and I actually do think it is I think it's an important aspect, and it's also just it's one of those things where it's there's no body diversity. I feel in Hollywood recently, I feel everyone freaking looks the same, and you don't get to see women that look like that on screens a lot, and so I am a little bit frustrated that we don't have that. But again, it's not the end all be all for me. I'm not as strict when it comes to stuff like that. But I will say too, some of the things that have been frustrating me this season is just the writing. I do think some of it has been a little bit too on the nose and a little bit too and again, I understand too that this season had to be way harder to create because it's just such a long game, and I feel it's really freaking hard to pace that out. I actually think too, even in the game, I think the pacing of the game is a little bit weird in some areas, even though I love the game. I do think that's almost an impossible. I don't even know how you would pace that out better. I do think though the season has been feeling a little bit rushed, and a lot of the moments in the game that are very impacting, a lot of those big moments have not been hitting the same for me personally. I think one of the problems I have too is the first season, a lot of the big changes that they did decide to make actually, I think, improved the story. I think the Bill and Frank episode, for example, or there's all their little changes that they did too, making Henry and Sam, making Sam deaf, I actually think was a fantastic, there's a lot of little things that I think improve the story, whereas this season I feel the changes they're making haven't been improving the story. They've just been making them more flawed, in my opinion. And yeah, I've just been struggling. I think specifically too, especially with Ellie's writing. I think Bella Ramsey is fantastic as Ellie. I will die on this hill defending them because they have gotten an disgusting amount of hate for really weird reasons, I think, and I don't agree with that sentiment on just hating someone for how they look. I don't agree with a lot of the hate they've been getting. I think though the writing has been doing them very dirty this season. Again, I think their acting has been fantastic. They have range. I've seen it. I feel their character has their agency has not been pushed enough. And I don't know, I just haven't really been feeling like the revenge aspect of the season, which is like bizarre because it's like the point of the season. I haven't been feeling it. It's been kind of frustrating me. And Ellie's like my favorite part of the second game. Like that's the main character. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm talking about. Listen, I'm not a professional like critic or anything like that. These are just my stupid opinions. I feel like people are gonna get mad at me because I know like this season was always gonna be, I think, controversial because it is an extremely controversial game. It was always gonna be like, I think, tough to pull off anyway. But I'm still enjoying the show. Like I don't like hate the show. I just have more issues than I did last season. I preferred last season. But yeah, also like this art that I'm working on right now. I apologize too, by the way. I didn't record the beginning of me working on that Ellie sketch at first because I started doing it at work and I completely forgot that I wanted to film this. I couldn't have filmed it at work too because like the lighting would have been atrocious. And also I was busy. So I apologize that I skipped a little bit of that in the beginning of this video. I'm trying to be better with how I film things. I kind of want to try playing around too with like just angles and stuff. So yeah, I apologize about that. But yeah, I really wanted to do a whole spread, and I actually did include in this little spread that I actually did include, most of these are like based off of how they look in the show, but I actually did include a sketch of both Ellie and Abby that was inspired by the game more. So yeah, but I think everyone else is very much show accurate. And yeah, I really like actually how I like the first page more than the second spread I did. This took me like an embarrassing long amount of time to make. Like I was getting very frustrated, and I don't know if frustrated is the right word. I was just being very impatient, which has been a problem that I've been having recently. If you've been watching my videos, where I've been very like, I don't know, burnout, been kind of dealing with art block, haven't been in the mood to draw, which is frustrating and sad. It makes me, very sad. I do though, actually, again, I really like the way that I like planned out this page, this first one specifically. I do think though, Ellie, this one I'm drawing right here, that's the one that was inspired more by the game. The proportions on that are like really weird, and I feel like her face is too long. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. You can kind of tell though, throughout this video, you can see me rushing more and more throughout it. The drawing. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm slurring my words a lot right now for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I was just like kind of rushing through it, which again, problem I've been having recently. I need to learn patience more. I really wanted to stick to very warm tones, because when I think about the show, I do think more like, earthy tones, warm tones. Because that's like kind of the point of the game, is like Earth taking back the planet, and I kind of wanted to include that into the art, so that's what I did. I also wanted to for outlining and stuff too, I usually either use browns if I want a warmer look, or like, there's this like Tuscan red color I have. It's like a colored pencil for some reason too. I'm not sure if like other people can relate to this, but it's one of the Prismacolor soft, because that's like what I use for colored pencils. And every single Tuscan red color I have breaks so easily, and it frustrates me so bad. Every single one. Like, I don't know what it is specifically about that pencil, if the lead in it is different, but every time I try sharpening those, they freaking break, and it drives me crazy because I really like that color and I'm running out of them, and it's stressing me out. And so, like, every time I try to use it, it's like a pain. It's a mess. I don't know. I was frustrated. I could not get it to freaking work. Also, Joel's hair here, I was very much like winging it. I was struggling with his hair. Because I wanted to include like the streaks in it still, but yeah, I don't know. I also wanted to make it so that like a lot of I didn't want to use like a whole bunch of colors on these. Like, I wanted to be a little bit more simple with my coloring. I was kind of trying to experiment a little bit with coloring, and like with the way that I was outlining this. Like, I tried to use a little bit less lines when I was outlining it, and not like outlining every single thing, and doing kind of like a blend of it going into the skin and then actually being an outline itself. I don't know if that worked well. I was like struggling though with like color picking on this one, because like I didn't know what colors I wanted to use. So yeah, and I wanted to try to keep them all like consistent together, cohesive. because I didn't want to have a whole bunch of different crazy colors, because I feel like it's harder for the spread to come together whenever you're using like 1,000 different colors all over the place. So I tried to keep them a minimum amount of color so that each of the characters like were, again, cohesive. I also feel like, I don't know, I was struggling with this picture of Pedro too, because he has a very distinct face, especially profile, very distinct profile. And I feel like I didn't quite capture it right. I feel like once I got the hair, facial hair, you can kind of see more of it, but I do think it looks a little bit weird. Side note, by the way, I freaking love his hair this season. Like the longer hair, love it. Love to see it. The curls, they're working. They're working. I appreciate it. I really do. That was just a stupid side note that I had. Yeah, I actually really like too this picture of Tommy that I did. I really like how he turned out also. Oh, this might be a controversial take, but I'll say it. I actually think that Tommy in the show I like more than in the game. Again, I know, controversial. But like Tommy in the game, like I've always liked Tommy, but like I've never really felt like that connected to him, to be honest. I feel like because like also, I don't know, I feel like we've never really gotten that much of Tommy, I feel. You know, I don't know, again, I mean I liked him, but I never like felt like super connected to him. For some reason, Tommy in the show, I really like I don't know if it's the actor, cuz like his writing has been like pretty, I mean there are still some differences, but his writing has been still pretty similar, I feel. And like his motivations and stuff have been fairly similar, but like I just feel so much more connected to him. I don't know what that is. I don't know why. I don't know if anyone else feels this way. Again, I don't know if it's the actor, if he's just really selling that character for me, but he is, and I really, also it's crazy too because he sounds just like Tommy from the game. Like out of all the actors, it's like the crazy how similar he sounds. Like he sounds just like him. It's like bizarre because it's like, whoa, you are like literally, like your voice is exactly the same, and it throws me off every time I hear him talk. Yeah, another thing I also kind of purposely did too is I shaded, as you can see, with the colored pencil more. And I kind of like that because it usually will blend in with the marker. I will say, you know, I understand that might not be what everyone likes, because it will, like, I will say, if you ever are using like Ohu markers and Prismacolor pencils, some colors do bleed more than others. I'm just warning people right now. If you don't like that you might want to be more careful with stuff like that, but I personally do, because I don't know, I like the way that looks. Again, I think it makes it look a little bit more warmer and, once again, more cohesive together, so I usually prefer it. And yeah, so I ended up deciding to color only 3 of these. Originally I was going to color the entirety of both pages, but I was like, I don't want to. I also am just always so paranoid that I'm like killing all my markers, because I use them a lot, especially in my warm tones, and I feel like they're dying. And I mean, I could buy more, but God, they're so expensive. They're so expensive. And I've just been like trying to be a little bit more like, you know, holding back a little bit more with the amount I've been using them. So I decided to do some like I think they're called erase. Yeah, they're called erase pencils is what I sketched with, which I actually am really, really happy with Ellie's that I did, that first one, that blue one. I really, really am happy with how that sketch turned out. Like, really happy. I really like the way especially her eyes turned out. I feel like they look very like real and glassy and human. And eyes I usually don't put too much detail in, because I don't know, I feel like I have a hard time with eyes, because I feel like when I put too much detail in them, they look just weird, and they actually almost end up looking more lifeless, in my opinion. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really, really like how that picture of her turned out, like, a lot. And yeah, I really like this picture of Tommy, how it turned out. I like how his eyes turned out too here. And yeah, I was kind of just playing around with like shading the face. You know, I've drawn like countless faces, and you would think by now I would know how to shade a face. Every single time I wing it. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just throwing color down. Every single time. The day I learned how to shade freaking a face will be the day that I freaking die, apparently, because I'm a freaking mess. Yeah, again, at this point, I was just coloring things in. I also decided I didn't go super hard on like any backgrounds or anything like that, because I just couldn't be bothered, and this was already taking me way too long to make, and I was only on the first freaking page. I hadn't even started the second spread, or second page I was working on the spread, and so I started getting more and more like fast with it and rushing through it over time. And I also, again, I wanted to include, I feel like I draw Ellie's hair lighter than it actually is in the game, because, I mean, I think it is, I don't know, I always view her hair as almost being, like, red, but I think it's almost like a reddish brown color, I think. And I always make it a little bit more red than it is brown. But I actually really like how the way her hair turned out in this one. I got a little bit lazy with like the bun and stuff, to be honest, but I still actually really like it overall. So, yeah. This drawing of Abby too that I was working on, this is the first time I've ever drawn Abby, I believe. And I had a lot of fun. And this made me realize too, I don't draw enough like strong female characters. But it was really, really fun. I had a lot of fun drawing her. I want to do it more actually. Again, I was really playing around kind of with the way I was coloring these. And I really like how it almost looks like, it almost has like a watercolor effect almost a little bit on these, which I really like. And I was also sketching with like a pink, which I also really like the way that looks together, like the way the marker blends in with the colored pencil. I really like the way that effect looks. So again, I was trying to go in very lightly with the outlining on this one, because I kind of wanted to, I wanted to make it look extra soft, and so I didn't want to push too crazy hard on the outlines and everything. I will say that too, I think I messed up a little bit on Abby's face. I feel like her eyes, I feel like the one's a little bit too far down. And I feel like it doesn't really look like her that much. I will say though, on this one, I think my favorite thing that I did was, I'm really, really happy with how her hair turned out. I suck so bad at drawing braids. I actually don't even know how to draw braids still. Like, I literally just end up winging it each time. I really need to like study that, because I never have. And I need to like learn how to do it. But I really like the way it turned out in this picture a lot. The way that like it's going over her shoulder and laying, I'm really happy with. It's also like one of my favorite physics in the game. I love the way they animate her braid whenever she's like walking and stuff, and the way it will like catch on her shoulder. It's so satisfying, and like I can't even imagine working on a game like that, because it's genuinely is like the amount of detail and time spent working on like those environments and stuff is insane to me. And it's crazy too, because a lot of those things too, like you like go through like really quickly, and you're not always like looking at every single little thing, and like the amount of hours that people put into making it and then animating it, and like just the detail is insane to me. I feel like it's even harder too whenever you're doing a game like Last of Us, because you have to like build these environments obviously, but then you have to think about like what they would look like once they're broken down and messed up, which I feel like is actually even harder to do than like a perfectly clean world that has like, like things built up. You have to like break things down, which again is just like, oh, I genuinely don't understand how people can like sit there and make video games. Like, it blows my mind that we can play these things and like live in these worlds, and it's crazy. It like literally blows my mind, and I can't even like comprehend how it's possible. Again, this was like my last thing that I was working on. I started to really get like done with this. I like was originally gonna go in and like paint this background to make it look a lot darker and have like cool mood lighting on the two of them, but I couldn't be bothered. So you see, I got very lazy with the coloring on this, and then I also messed up Ellie's hair, and so I had to go in with whiteout, or not whiteout. It was like a white Gelée roll pen. I ended up fixing with that, which actually did work. But yeah, I was struggling, and I don't really care for how Dina's face looks on this one. I just could not be bothered, and I was tired, and so yeah, I ended up rushing through this one, and I didn't fully color in the background of it. So yeah, I apologize with that. I did really love the scene though in the show. I think they captured it very, very well. And these two do have very, very good chemistry together. I will say, I think one of the breakouts of this season is definitely Dina. I think that actress that plays her is fantastic. And she's been really bringing a lot to that role. And yeah, it's been very, very good. But yeah, you can just tell I was very tired at this point, and I didn't want to try anymore, so I was kind of just really quickly trying to finish it. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching this video. Let me know what you feel about Last of Us, whether it be the games or the show, how you feel about the show, your experience with it, how it makes you feel. Let me know. Thank you everyone so much if you're still here for watching this video. Yeah, and I'll see you guys again. Bye.